of YouTube. These are the new tier changes. No, it is not a joke like it originally was, but we will jump into it pretty quickly. As you can see, there are many changes. A total of 10 have been moved around. Deoxys D, Gligar, Sharpedo, Yanmega, Claydol, just Honchkrow, Mesprit, Charizard, Ludicolo, and Sawsbuck. Pretty big deal. But starting off, many changes to UU. Starting off, Deoxys D has been moved from UU up to BL. But this was somewhat expected, kind of a shock. But the first reason, of course, it is very bulky. It has very high defenses, able to take many hits, and, scruff them off with a recover. Also, it has pretty decent speed to compete with many other walls that are common in the tier, so that was also a big deal. And also, its move pool allows it to do its job well. It is a very good defensive beast in either range, defensive or specially defensive, and its move pool, including spikes and stealth rock, it can really work as a decent supporter, even with taunt and stealth rock and all those other good support moves. It can really help. Next is Yanmega, who has moved up from BL2 to UU. The first reason is its high special attack, which we all know, but this change overall is not a big deal because it was being used in UU already, of course, but it was banned from RU, so this is just making it official. Also, next reason, it has a 4 times resistance to fighting, which is pretty good because, in 5th gen and all over OUUU all tiers, there are many fighting types that work pretty well. The third reason is it can be very hard to revenge kill with speed boost going on, and even with a Choice Specs Tinted Lens set, it still can do a lot of damage to your team. So the next one, and this one all some were happy about, some not so much. Gligar has been moved up from RU to UU. The first reason, of course, is its amazing defense, hitting around 500 and I believe 58 with the Violite, which is very high. Being able to take on many hits, also having an immunity to electric and ground, and some key resistances such as the common move, or common type fighting rather. Next, like I said, it can take on physical attackers very well, and it is also a decent baton passer because of its defenses and its reliable recovery in the form of roost, as well as having key resistances, like I stated, to and even immunities. Next is Sharpedo. Now this was pretty expected, and I think RU is going to be much more balanced for this change. First off, we all know about Sharpedo. It has gotten speed boost this generation, which some thought would be broken, maybe not, but it does work very well with speed boost, and I do enjoy using it no matter what tier it's in. Next, it's a very strong sweeper, as we all know it. Its physical attack, I think, is base 120, which is pretty high, but also it can even run a mix, with Ice Beam or Hydro Pump. It can really work for it, or even a weird hidden power out of the blue of hidden power fighting or so. But overall, it can use many physical moves and a somewhat decent special move pool, so it's somewhat unexpected. Next is Claydol. Now this was good, also making RU a bit more balanced as well, moving it from RU to UU. Of course, the first reason we all know is that it is a reliable spinner. It is able to come in and out because it resists Stealth Rock, and because of its ability to levitate, it will not take Toxic Spikes or Spikes damage. Next, it does have a pretty decent support move pool, of course, as it being a spinner, and even with, Ice Beam or Earth Power / Earthquake, those two moves do give it fairly decent coverage, so not too many things can come into it thinking it won't take some heavy damage. Not that it's a huge special attacker or physical attacker, just that it does have the coverage to be able to deal some super effective hits. And of course it does, just like Gligar, have many resistances that can work for it. Moving on is Honchkrow. Now this is good too because, like I said, moving it into UU will make the RU tier a little bit more balanced, but I think we all saw this one coming as well, so not too many people are upset about it. But as we all know, Moxie is probably the biggest selling point of Honchko in 5th gen, being able to score many attack boosts, possibly Sucker Punch, or subbing up, Brave Birding everything, and all that. So, also it is able to run a mixed set. Now this was even in 4th gen, where it could run, Heat Wave and Superpower to take on Chansey or Blissey, and being able to take them down is a pretty big deal when you're expecting a physical attacker. Ferrothorn comes in and takes a lot from Heat Wave, so it's a pretty reliable set. And of course it forces switches, knowing that it could go for the Sucker Punch, and it could sub up on the opponent, allowing for more Moxie boost and more destruction. But one of the last tiers, there is one new Pokemon in it, and that is Mesprit. Now this is pretty good because it was the #1 most used Pokemon in the NU tier. And of course the first reason is it has a pretty large move pool, even for being an NU or RU. Bolt Beam, of course, U-Turn, Stealth Rock. It really had a lot going for it, even with Calm Mind. It can do a lot, and its defenses are nothing really to laugh at. And Levitate, like I said with Claydol, able to avoid those spikes, toxic spikes, which really can make a difference when setting up Stealth Rock, U-turning out, or just firing off a Bolt Beam, or just any type of even physical attack. And of course, it can support a team, or it can sweep one at the same time, because Calm Mind will boost its special defense pretty high, and it's pretty good in the special attack area too, so it's nothing to really take, it's something that you should always really take seriously. And lastly, changes to NU. The next 3 Pokemon have all sadly dropped down. Starting off is Charizard. Of course, the first reason is because of its 4 times weakness to Stealth Rock. Secondly, it is slightly outclassed because of the new fire types in 5th gen, such as Chandelure, but there are just many fire types that are commonly used that really can outclass Charizard, but it can really pack a punch even on its own. And lastly, of course, its Stealth Rock weakness, along with its new ability Solar Power, which can make it a beast in the sun. Those 2 abilities can really chip away at its HP, or as far as the ability and the Stealth Rock, can really chip away at its HP pretty quickly. And lastly, or not lastly, Ludicolo has been moved also down from RU to NU. Of course, we all know Ferroseed and Quillfish give it a headache. Can easily check it and hurt it, toxic it. And also, its physical defense is not really anything to write home about, so physical priority attacks can really hurt it too as well. And also, one other thing, it sometimes seems as though Ludicolo needs rain to do better in a match, which is somewhat true. And it's good, but it's bad, because if it gets up the rain dance or something like that, it can do a large amount of damage, although it won't be doing a lot without it. And lastly, Sawsbuck has been moved down. I do like Sawsbuck, but this is kind of disappointing. We all know it does not have the best defenses. Cofagrigus also gives it a headache, where it can take its physical attacks all day. Will-O-Wisp it's immune to its normal stab attacks. And of course, its move pool is pretty good. It's got Jump Kick, Earthquake with Nature Power, Horn Leech, and Stab Return or Double Edge. It's a pretty decent move pool along with Swords Dance, or even being a baton passer, but nothing really of a big deal. But yeah, so those are all the tier changes now for April. This is not a joke. I know there was originally one. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.